Hi, let's take a look at how we can automate the creation of doc stores, doc types, keys, and document type keys in Docstore. Normally, you'd use the web interface to create a doc store and go in and create the document types, etc., etc. And that's fine most of the time. But if you are doing say setting up a script for a customer installation, you may well want to document that or even repeat it at a later date. All the API does, or all the web interface does, is call the API, which is documented in the Docstore URL interface spec, which normally is used for retrieving documents, but you can, if you're using, you can create everything that you would need to using the API. We're going to do that now, and we're going to use the rather awesome application called Postman to do that, which will give you a good introduction to Postman, the wonders of it if you haven't used it before. So download the app here. It's a hugely complex and capable product, so I urge you to take a look and read through the excellent Learning Center, watch the videos, go on the courses. What we're going to do now is just going to scratch the surface, really. So let me start by opening up Postman. I have got a bunch of collections down the left-hand side here. The one we're looking at particularly is this Docstore customer tests here, which you can import this. I'll provide a link in the description here, which is great. No, not the Docstore customer tests, the Docstore API tests, that one there. We got 9 requests in here. The posts are the ones that create stuff. The gets are just my tests to make sure that everything worked correctly. Collection, it is possible to run the entire collection. So once you set it up how you want it, you could press run here and run the whole thing, and you've got yourself a fully configured Docstore. Well, we're going to step through that one at a time just so we can see what's happening. First of all, I'm going to go in here and edit the collection. So you can see there's a description here with the links to all our documentation. The authorization, Docstore uses basic authorization. When you import this collection, it shouldn't have my username and password in there. You'll need to put your own username and password in there. There are scripts that you can run before the collection runs and afterwards. We haven't got any in this particular one. And these are the variables. Now, the variables, you'll see them being used in all of the scripts coming up. So, for example, you can set the server name here, and then all the scripts will run on that server that you specify here. The port HTTPS and the port is correct for us. We've got initial and current values here. What that means is you can set up default state and reset everything back to the default state. But then during, when you're running the collection, you can make changes to the variables and you'll be able to see the values here. What I'm going to do is just make a change to the to a variable here. And Docstore library, we need to set something unique there. You can obviously put what you like in these values. Okay, so we're good to go. Now we run one of these tests. So if I close this, one of these requests, it opens up here. You can see all the tabs that I've opened so far. You can close them all, close all tabs. There we go. And then double click to open one up. One thing that is a bit funky that I found with Postman is that when you make a change to a request, it doesn't, I'm not quite sure when it gets saved. So I would recommend you press save after, whenever you've made a change. For example, if you duplicate a request, you will get the saved version, not the current version. So before you do a duplicate, for example, click save. Just confused me once or twice, but okay, so this is a request. Here you can see the type of request. Like we said, we're going to do a post to create something. Here you can see the variables that we defined earlier on being entity replaced. If you hover over them, you can see the current values for them. Very handy. And you can see the URL being built up. Now we've got the authorization, which for all of these is just going to inherit from the collection. So we only have to set that up once. And in the body here, you can see the key value pairs that we're passing in to this post. If I go back to my documentation, you can see that I've got 3 parameters I can pass into creating a Docstore: the name, the library, and the description. Here they are: name, library, and description. Top tip, if you press this bulk edit, you can go in here and just edit it like a text file, or you can come in here and fiddle about with it manually. Okay, now we've got pre-request scripts and post-request scripts, which you can use to do anything you like. Here I'm using it to test that the result from the return value from the request is 200, which is HTTP for everything went swimmingly. You'll see that in a minute. If we run that test now, run that request, sends the request to the server does its thing, and then hopefully if everything works correctly, we get a response back here. And you can see the response as XHTML. If you look carefully, you can see the 200 OK in the description, Docstore test DS3 created. And then if you look here, we can see the test results, which says pass, server response is 200. And that's because my test was called server response is 200. And then this value equated to true. So PM response code was equal to 200. So that's testing, very powerful test-based development. You can do that all in Postman. Okay, so we've created our Docstore. If we flip back to the Docstore configuration, you can see we got test DS and test DS2. We created test DS3. There it is. So we've scripted creating of a Docstore. Now we can go on and create a document type. We can open that one up here. You can see that again we're using the Docstore name here and the doc type. And in the body, we've got all the variables that we want for creating a doc type. Press send. We get the response, and the test result is server response is 200 again. Go on, we can create a key. 200, flip back here, but I've just proved that this is happening. Go and have a look at document types. We've got the document type. We go and look at the keys. We've got a Docstore key, test key that we've just created, but no keys have been added to this document type yet. So if we go and do the final create, just have a look at the body here. We are saying in the URL, we're naming the doc type. Not sure this one's going to work. Connect a key to a document type. Doc type key. Gonna run it. it returned true, but I don't think it will have connected because I think the URL, just a little bit of live coding here, to create a connector key to a document type should be yes, associating a key with a document type. If we run this, you'll notice that the name of the document type is in the URL. It's hard coded here, or as it was hard coded in this create a document type here. So if you were doing creating multiple document types, you would need to change, or if you change the name of the document type here to connect it to the right key, you would need to change it here. But if I run that command there, we get a 200 response. And if we go and have a look at, you can see that this key has not been added. Press refresh. Now the document type key has been connected to the document type. So that's scripting Docstore creations using Postman. The other gets in here are just tests, not just tests, but obviously very useful unit tests to make sure that everything has worked successfully. And you can see as we run through these, you can see the test results. This one here, every time Postman is much more comfortable handling JSON than XML. So the first line of the unit test is to convert the response body to JSON. And then you can log that out to the console, which you can view by clicking View Postman Console here. It's helpful. And then you can set up tests by just naming the test and then doing the Boolean test that should return true when everything's working out. It's a very simple technique, but very powerful. So this one just tests that when we do a get on this, that the response code is 1 and that we return more than 1 Docstores. This test here actually goes away and requests the data for the docs, that specific Docstore that we've created, and it makes sure that the name of the Docstore that's returned is the same name as the name of the Docstore that we created. And you can see in the XML here, CPPD Docstore store name is test DS3, and here CPPD Docstore store name is equal to, and this is just pulls in the name of the variable, the collection variable that we defined in the collection. Well, a couple more tests. This one just checks that we have a document type. This one tests that we have at least one key. And finally, this test checks that we have a Docstore key. Okay, there we go. There's a quick introduction to Postman and using it for creating Docstores automatically. Hope you enjoyed this. Do give me a shout if you get stuck with anything. We can try figuring it out together. Or if you do learn anything, please update the Postman notes that we have in Google Drive. They're very sparse at the moment, let me tell you. All they've got so far is the tricky business about getting OAuth credentials. It's a little bit about XML here, and a link to this video and the Postman collection, this Postman collection, which I can export. I will export here and upload to Google Drive and put in the links as well. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy Postman, enjoy scripting Docstore creations.